morning, all you Midwestern mages. My name is Broderick. I'd love to welcome you back to the Minnesota's Magic Podcast Show. Joining me as always are my lovely co-hosts. You know one of them as the man of Minnesota, that mono blue menace. That's Dylan Hopman.
I think he had to go pee.
Jesus Christ.
My mic was muted. I was saying goodbye to my girlfriend.
Bye,
I think
Caitlin.
alongside that man is a man we all love and know, the banding god. That's Papa Blake.
Hey, I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Oh, he's the one who had to pee. Well, as he's going by, filling in that spot, you know him, you love him. He's that tall giant with the beard, the security card of the rear. That's Boardwipe Johnson. That's Zach.
What's up, guys? I think I have to pee after that.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's like a road trip, making several gas station stops.
We do good. We do good here.
We try. Wait, did he actually go pee? He actually went to the bathroom, didn't he?
They both did.
Oh!
I thought that was obvious.
All right.
What are we talking about today, Brody?
Yeah, all right, let's get to it. So, what we're talking about today? Well, it's that episode we've been teasing about. It is the modern ban list. Now, a couple weeks back, we went through the list ourselves. The episode is lost forever. R.I.P. corruption. And we went through it all, and we each, it's like, all right, Dylan, what do you want? Unban, ban, unban on this. And it's like,
Hey,
all
I'm
right.
back, everyone.
Oh, look, there he is. He's
How's
back
it going,
from-
everyone? How's everyone doing out there? Hey, hello.
Did you wash your hands?
I certainly did wash my hands.
That was really
I
fast.
thought he was going to say, I certainly did not.
Gross.
No,
But anyways.
didn't. I just had to pee real quick. It was just a little pee.
I bet you he didn't. I bet you he didn't have to pee, and that was just a bit.
He's just a little bit.
Next time I'll bring the mic with me, and you guys can hear me pee.
No.
Yes, please.
No, I do
I
not want
need
to.
proof.
Blake, you left your purse in the bathroom.
Oh shit! I'll be right back.
All right. So, anyways, us as a group went through the modern list. We went through to see what we'd want unbanned, what we did want banned. There were a couple where it's like just 3-1, where they're like little things where it's like, me being the chaos player was like, yes, I'd like this stupid thing unbanned because I want to shake up the meta. So we're not talking about that, but we're talking about like more controversial things, more things where, like, let's start off with the artifact lands. How many of us voted to unban the artifact lands, Blake?
All 4 of us voted to unban the artifact lands.
Yes, and I think I'll start it off. We'll each give a reason here. Fucking what the hell is that archetype called? Affinity. Affinity is trash right now. I saw one deck playing it at the Modern Tournament, but I don't think giving them untapped single-colored mana lands will give them any more power than what they already are. I've seen Dylan play Affinity, and I've seen him on turn 0 play a single artifact land and dump his entire hand. I don't think it matters. Probably won't matter at all.
So, yes and no. I mean, it just depends on. It depends on who you ask, and it depends on the hand you get. Because I mean, most of what Affinity plays right now is all tap lands. All artifact lands that came out from MH2 all come in tapped, except for Treasure Vault.
Yeah. The one
But
from
that's
AFR.
And Darksteel Citadel.
And Darksteel Citadel. Yeah, those are the only 2 that come in untapped. Tapped. Having untapped colored mana for Affinity is fine. I mean, you're running a bunch of beat down creatures, and there's so much artifact hate in the format right now that I don't see a reason not to unban the artifact lands because you can target the lands with artifact removal if you choose. So
doesn't Fury like just wreck that board too?
Yeah.
Not Fury, but Force of Vigor and.
That's what it was. Yeah, Force of Vigor.
Well, Force of Vigor destroys it. Anything that has lots of artifact hate could easily wipe this deck. So. Yeah.
Zach, you want to go?
I mean, it's artifact lands, guys. I mean, we've all said it. There's nothing to gain from it, so it might as well just come off at this point.
Yeah, my point being, like, the only thing I really wanted to unban for my Hammer Time deck, just to make it a little bit easier to turn on Pure Steel Paladin. Not that it's hard to do so.
It would make it easier for that.
But I think it's not an issue because Hammer Time was such a huge issue when when MH2 kind of happened and like the Urza Saga debacle and whatnot. And with Luris gone, I don't think it's an issue that you can just straight up destroy everyone's lands and then they
Right.
can't play anyway. Because all there is in this godforsaken format is removal.
Yep. Yeah.
And if someone plays a Karn, like if you're going up against Tron, like you can't use them anyway. And not that like it's super necessary for affinity because you're gonna play a lot of things for 0 anyway, but I don't know. It just they seem fine. I think you could unban them. I don't think that it would shift the meta in any way to make it that much better.
Yeah. All
Agreed.
right.
Well said.
Next on that list, I think this is a very controversial card. Like people want this, they like this card. It's been talked about a lot. It's Birthing Pod.
Birthing Pod.
I would like it unbanned.
No, broken.
Okay, well,
Zach wants it
all right, I want to hear from Zach. What's your reasoning why you want it to stay banned? Like, don't just say broken. Like, why?
All right, so I don't know if you guys remember when this card was actually really big and it was played a lot, but basically what happens is it allows them to basically search for an infinite combo is the problem. And green already has a ton of ramps, so it's not like it's hard to get that. And by turn 3, they have game.
Do you think with enough like, so I'll read Birthing Pod real quick. Birthing Pod is 3 and 1 Phyrexian mana, green Phyrexian mana, which Phyrexian mana can either be paid with a green mana or paying 2 life. And Birthing Pod, oh, it's an artifact by the way, has pay 1 and 1 Phyrexian mana tap, sacrifice a creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 or equal to +1 the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. So, play Birthing Pod. So let's say you have a creature out. You have to pay essentially 5 mana and presumably 4 life to activate this thing. Put your creature out and hope it survives. And yes, there are like loops with like Vasir Seer and Murderous Red Cap to just get that infinite loop. There's also a thing called Fury, and there's a lot of just instant artifact board wipe. So it's like, or blow up. Like, all right, I play my Birthing Pod. I go to activate it. In response, I'm going to Force of Vigor your Birthing Pod. Or in response, I'm going to Fury your whatever you're trying to sacrifice.
Yeah,
That's not how that works because if
the
you're
sacrificing
using
is part of the.
it's part of the trigger.
activation.
So even
Alright,
if you were to blow up Birthing Pod in response to them tapping it, they would still resolve the effect.
Well, they'd still get one. They'd get the one activation. They wouldn't necessarily. The trigger would go on the stack to search,
Yes.
and then you destroy it. And so they search, and whatever they find, like, sure, they could find something maybe to bring the Birthing Pod back into play or something, or back into hand.
My reasoning for keeping it banned is for the future of the format. Because I think that as the power level of creatures rises over time, I think that Birthing Pod just gets better. I feel like if we were to let's say we unbanned Birthing Pod today, and then they were to come out with cards in the future, more cards in the future, and I feel like as that would happen, you would notice there's way more power creep, and Birthing Pod just gets better and better and better and better. It's more valuable, and I think that I feel like it would restrict future design space of creatures. Like if they were to, because if they had Birthing Pod come out, and then we had another card that was just so good, but it had like a caveat, but like you could still get it with Birthing Pod, then that would be a broken card and a broken combo that would now see into the format. So I feel like because of that, I think it should stay banned so that they don't have to play around another thing when they're designing creatures. For
And
the
that
modern.
was one of the actual reasons why it was banned, because they looked at the longevity of the game as a whole, and they were obviously noticing that, you know, they're not going down, they're not moving power levels down or mana levels down. Everything's just getting better and better and better, and it's getting more rampant. And that's what they looked at when they were making the decision to ban this.
Okay. My argument though is with the evoke elementals that just got, printed last year, I don't feel that a birthing pod is necessarily going to like completely break open the format. Like there are so many combo decks already, with like Yogg combo being consistent, Goblin combo being consistent, uh Murktide being like at the top of the meta right now. I don't think Birthing Pod would help like a Murktide deck any better. Um like and there's so much with the surgence again of Hammer Time when it became so huge. Everyone started packing so much removal for artifacts in their deck, that I don't feel that it would be that big of an issue, because of course, yes, then you have to play more removal, but that's what I mean. When we played that
What the
tournament,
format of modern is.
yeah, and when we played that tournament, I played against a Footfalls deck, and literally, I think half of their sideboard was just to deal with Hammer, because that's what
What
like
kills it?
what kills it. And so I feel like that's already in the meta, and also, you know, there with Murktide being so big, there is counterspell legal in the format now. People play a lot of counter spells. They play Spell Pierce, they play Mana Leak, they play so many things that can deal with it beforehand that I think adding another sort of like combo win of a deck, that it wouldn't be that big of an issue. I mean, I don't think that there's necessarily I have it as a maybe because I don't think there's necessarily a good reason to unban it, but I don't think that it needs I think that it could do something to somewhat shake, add another deck to the format.
If this,
So,
I
so
feel
what
like, oh, if I
what
feel like
was
if this got unbanned, the first deck that you would see this card in is Yawgmoth. Because it's so that's a better card than like Corda Calling or what's the other one? Green Sun Zenith even would be
No, not Green Sun Zenith. It's uh
not, yeah.
God dang it.
It's banned.
It's the green one green and sacrifice a creature and go find a creature.
Yeah,
I can't. Eldritch Evolution.
Evolution. Yeah, I feel like you would see that in Yawgmoth combo decks for sure. That would be where it starts.
Sure, but also it's to be able to effectively use it. I mean, yes, there's ways to like make artifacts cheaper, but like you're talking turn 4. Like what deck isn't ready to almost pop off by turn 4 in modern?
Right. Yeah. No. You make a good point. I can see both, and I mean, hell, we've talked about even Omnath. Like, why isn't that card banned? It's so good. You know, it's there's just so many cards in the format that are also good that it just doesn't make sense. So
Yeah. I mean,
Blake, tell us what else is good that should be unbanned or banned.
well, the next card that we have on the list is Dark Depths that we want to talk about. Brody's the only one who thinks this card should be unbanned, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to hear your reasoning as to why.
All right. So, like the two big cards that come to mind when like you play Dark Depths are Vampire Hexmage and what the hell is this? Thespian Stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you play your land. All right, Dark Depths comes out. You play your Hexmage, blow it up. All right, you wonder what happens next turn? Somebody invokes an elemental, blows it up. Hey, I've gained 20 life, but I just lost this 20/20.
Okay.
I don't feel like
Still
either
trying to find your point. That's a lot of life, dude.
you gained a lot of life.
So much
Yes.
life in modern.
Yes.
We're not
I
talking
get
commander.
that. It's a lot of life. I get yes, this isn't command, but I feel like Dark Deck just doesn't do enough right now. Yeah, you get this 20/20. Merit Lage ain't gonna last on the board.
Can
Merit Lage is
I
gonna go bye-bye.
can I throw out a card?
Sure.
Not of this world. It is a 7-mana colorless counterspell that counters a spell or an ability that targets a creature that you control, and it costs 7 less for if you have a creature that has a power of, I think, 7 or greater or something like that.
Yep.
So and that is legal in the format.
Correct.
So it legit just stops everyone from being able to do anything.
Yes.
Um,
Not even
you
even
would
Tron runs
see-
that a whole lot.
I think if they unbanned it, I think you would see a lot of people running Path to Exile in their decks. You would see
Yeah.
a lot of people running prismatic endings in their decks. I know if it got unbanned tomorrow, I would immediately be boarding in sideboarding in Path to Exile. Because it is a token, right? So it's not hard to exile it, kill it.
Sure.
But you would also probably see a lot of people running Land Hate.
Isn't
Ponzo might
Oncoming?
be another deck that comes back into the format that you would see a lot of that.
Yeah. There are
I
ways
can
to keep
see
it down.
reasons for it, and here's even good. I mean, Burn could take it out. I mean, what is it? Why can't I think right now? Deflecting Palm is a card, so I mean, you can just give the old 1-2 punch. But like that's maybe there's some reason that could be unbanned, but for the reasons of it's a 20 life format and a 20/20 indestructible flyer, I just doubt that that's a good unbanned card.
I would like to also make the point of Amulet Titan, and I don't think Amulet Titan needs another reason to be good.
Well, is Vesuva a legal card in Modern?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another
wait.
reason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
So yeah, because you could play because Vesuva does the same thing Thespian Stage does. Because you could bring in Vesuva, copy it as, you could copy it as a Dark Depths, and then you would get your token, and you wouldn't.
You could feasibly turn 1, turn 2, get out a Amulet Titan, and then make a 20/20 flyer.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Primeval Titan, not Amulet Titan. That's the name of the deck. But Prime Time legit breaks Dark Depths so wide open, and I really don't think it needs that much more help.
It does not.
Um.
Next card.
Yeah. Okay. Or Zach, you got any points on what you want to say about Dark Depths?
Nope, I don't much care about that card. It was banned for a reason because
It was never a card in the format. It was never a card in the format. It got pre-banned just like all the artifact lands.
Yep. We've never had Dark Depths.
But I think we've all seen it in Commander on how quick that thing can go off. It's crazy. And I think it would just push the direction of people having to start running paths again, and I think they're trying to push towards something else now. So
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Arrow is laying on my notebook. Next card we got is Deathrite Shaman.
Ah, yes, the boy, the son, the 1-mana planeswalker. I think we should unban him. He's a creature. He takes you play him. All right, he's out. and then it takes a turn for him to like actually use those abilities. But by that time, there's so much that could happen. He could get pushed. He could get bolted. He could get a lava
Fury-
axe thrown into his face. A
He can
monkey
get
could come.
furied. He can get
There's so,
the solituded. He can get.
yes.
There's again, a lot of these cards got banned when I feel like there wasn't as much prominent. Like
Removal.
there was always removal, but like
Like it says
the
here that
biggest
it
decks in the
sur-
format. The biggest decks in the format right now are like 5-color control and blue red. Is it Murktide?
Yeah.
And those decks all pack so much removal and so much like
Counter
just
magic.
just control magic and board hate and all this stuff because they're just trying to control the board until they can get out their big beaters.
Yeah. It says here that like what made him prominent was the fact that it has 2 toughness and survives hate like gut shot.
Nobody runs gut shot.
No.
This is a time of it's like, oh, he works great in combination with Bloodbraid Elf.
I mean, it could also make Jund a good deck again, which I'd be fine with
Yeah.
because Jund
Yeah.
is when Jund is fun, when Jund is good and prominent. I think the format probably is a little better just because it's a very fair deck.
Like, but like this card, it's like, oh, you tap me, exiles instant sorceries, total loses 2, exile a target permanent from the graveyard, you gain 2. It's just a hey, I'm targeting graveyard decks. The only thing I can see this really doing a whole lot to is Yawgmoth combo, which I'm fine with that hitting Yawg combo. But
Yeah, I think that Deathrite Shaman, as much as I gave it shit the last time we talked about it, it's good. I think it's better. I think it's more valuable than Ragavan because Ragavan you have to hit your opponent,
yeah,
whereas Deathrite Shaman can just sit there and give you value every turn.
yeah.
Depends on it is a tap ability, so they can only
Yep.
do it once, which
It
is
also is cost 2, or like to exile an instant sorcerer, you need black mana. To exile a creature card, you need green. Now, presumably you'll get those, but it's still a cost.
I mean, it's there to exile lands. It's there to
Mhm.
exile fetch lands so that way they can get more mana, which is
Yeah.
what I don't know what the issue is. You're hurting
Oh.
Murktide decks. You're hurting
Oh god, yeah,
Living
you're
End
hurting
a little
Murktide
bit. You're
decks.
hurting Reanimator. Like
Yeah, so the reason is because like a lot of people will use the ability while they're bringing something back from the graveyard, and when they target it, then Deathrite Shaman will target it in response, so they don't get the effect.
but you could do the same thing with Relic of Progenitus. I mean, I know that doesn't target, but there's so much graveyard hate that people have to play now because there are so many graveyard decks that I can't imagine that a 1 mana have to tap ability is gonna cause that big of an issue, considering you can still play um Scavenging Ooze and like
so.
don't know.
This card, the reason why I think it should stay banned is because it will go in every deck that runs green or black, because it is, it's a dual card. You can run it in either green or black, and I think that this card would be. Well, I think it will be run in, if it were unbanned. It would be run in every deck that can run green or black, and it would be immediately would take out Living End. Living End would not. I don't think Living End would be very
Oh.
good. It would take out graveyard decks because it is targeted graveyard hate.
Yep, I'd run it in elves all day.
Exactly, it's an elf shaman. I mean, elves would absolutely run this with this card. It's just free targeted removal. Reanimator decks, goodbye. Anything like the Greasefang combo decks that were popular about a month or 2 ago, gone, because they're just gonna take all of your vehicles.
I think that
Okay.
deck's already got. I think this.
How often have you seen? Like, have you played against that deck once?
I play
Yes.
against it
The
all the
Greasefang
time in
deck.
Pioneer, but I haven't seen it
It's
in Modern.
so
In
I've
modern,
seen it,
we're
I've
talking about
seen
modern.
yes, I've seen it in modern. It's pretty good. It's not the best deck, but I'm talking about Living End.
Yeah.
Living
Okay.
End, Living End would be with this card.
So I feel
But is
So,
that
like, right
really
now,
an issue?
we-
My
that's
other
my
thing though, so the other thing too that I guess I didn't clarify is that if this card were run in every deck, you would see it start to turn into a thing of it's the same. What was the other card that just got banned recently? Because Luris. It would be the same reason why that this card would get banned is because of the same reason why Luris got banned. It promotes a gameplay that you would see it in every deck. So now you're just playing Deathrite Shaman versus Deathrite Shaman, and it's just sitting there grinding the board until somebody draws their win. And I think that's the same reason why Sensei's Divining Top got banned. It was run in every deck, and you would just sit there, and it would just be top, 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 top until something happens.
Well, that's
So
a timing issue. That was what that was. It would take too much time.
I know, but I think that Deathrite Shaman just promotes a gameplay where everyone's running that card.
I have
I-
another counter argument. I'm sorry. If you have a Deathrite Shaman, then it's also a Renin 6 killer. Like
That's true.
Dylan, it kills Red in 6, Dylan.
it
kills Red in
like,
6.
It
there's
does.
so much like
It does a lot of good right
consistency
now.
with that. Like I feel like it
Oh,
would
that
be
might
good. The
change my
fact that
mind
it's
there.
hurting
Yeah.
the fact that it's hurting so many decks,
Yeah.
like I don't think that it's necessarily like a
I don't
bad
like
card to
Renin
unban
6.
because it would hurt the Omnath decks. It would hurt the
Red in 6.
creativity
it hurts
decks. It
Murktide.
would hurt it. Well, not
It
Murktide.
does
I
so
mean,
much.
it hurts a little bit
it-
of Murktide, but like
Yeah. Gets rid of instants and sorceries.
Yeah, I mean it is hurting Murktide because if you think about it, you would taking out cards like Bauble or
Yeah.
taking
like
out
yeah,
cards
as
like
they do it. I mean,
So, like,
that
there's
that you kind of ubiquity isn't that bad. I mean, I think it would suck that it would kill certain decks, sure.
but
Like
uh,
the Grease
not-
Fang if someone wanted to try and do a Grease Fang deck, but I feel like there's so much graveyard hate because of all the graveyard decks that it's not an issue.
there's already so much artifact hate too.
you convinced me with the Renin 6 proposal.
So
So
I've
I'm
seen
sick
this
of
argument.
5-color decks too, and Renin 6 makes 5-color decks work.
So I've seen this argument on Reddit where it's like, oh, guys, what do we need to ban to fix modern? Because there's so much Omnath. It's like, why don't we go the opposite direction? Maybe unban some things to kind of shift
Balance
that
it out.
balance a little. Yeah. Instead of
That's
banning
fair.
stuff, why don't we try unbanning some things? So I think Deathrite would honestly be a great, like, in all honesty, put this card in. Shit, this thing, this is a silver bullet to a lot of those top decks right now.
Yeah.
All right.
This
I'm
card would
thinking
this card actually I don't think it would be as bad as I thought originally. So
Move on.
change-
Move us on,
you
Blake.
changed my mind, Blake.
Wait, did
Keep
I
us
change
going.
Zach's mind at all? Is Zach how do you feel about it?
It goes in elves.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's fine.
He doesn't care. All right. Well, I convinced Dylan. That's good enough for me.
You got one.
All right, so here's my financial advice: start buying Deathrite Shamans because they're gonna get unbanned.
Stop that.
$7 or $8 a pop.
Yeah. Well, when they come up to 30, you're gonna be like, nice.
Fuck.
With our influence over this podcast, they'll listen.
Oh yes, Wizards is definitely listening into us. We don't have an FBI agent; we have a Wizards agent.
That's one of our 5 listeners. Is
So it's Mark Rosewater himself. These guys are good. I'm not
These
gonna promote him though.
gonna destroy the game.
All right, next card we got is that was a long talk about Deathrite Shaman. Anyway, sorry.
Get ready for another.
The next card, there's not much to say about this one. Dread Return.
Never-
Brody is the only one who wants it unbanned.
Yes. All right.
Why would we have to unban it if it was never a card in Modern in the first place?
Correct. So there are no dredge decks. The ones that are shit. They're garbage. They're trash. They don't do enough. There's no like the big dredge creature is Murktide. That's about it. No, that's Delph. Never mind. Ignore Murktide. But here's the thing about Dread Return. There are no like good reanimation cards that don't bring back anything. There are ones that like bring back non-legendary. There's Persist that brings back with a -1/-1 counter. There is no straight up just reanimate or anything like that. I feel that it's like the Deathrite Shaman. It's not a silver bullet, but it like shifts the meta a little to like diversify and maybe opens new avenues and doors. I want Dread Return because there's not enough good reanimator decks. There's not enough shaking that right now. I feel like Dread Return is a good card. that can only be like, yeah, it has the flashback to sacrifice 3 creatures, but it's still black. There's not a whole lot of strong black prominent decks that aren't Yawgmoth. I feel like it wouldn't do enough right now either because it's a 4 mana spell as well. It's just one of those things where it's like, you can ramp it out, but what do you got in your graveyard at that point? Oh, you can. There are some cards that put. Oh, what the hell is that one from Modern Horizons? It just shoves it in there. But
You know what? Actually, that makes sense, Brody. And you know the reason why I think this card got banned originally was because at the time of Modern coming out, Dredge was the best deck in Legacy, or one of the best decks in Legacy. And
Narcomoeba.
when Modern became a format, one of the best creatures was pretty much Golgari Grave Troll. I think they
Yeah,
pre-banned that one though too.
they did. I believe so. But it's like, oh, like in the excuse is like, oh, you can just keep playing Narcomoebas. And it's like, that's a very slow stranglehold of a deck right there.
I don't. Dread Return is tough because I don't think it's necessarily super broken, but I've been playing against some Reanimator decks and whatnot lately, and I feel like giving them another piece isn't that good.
It's not.
I feel like it would go into more than Dredge, and I think that's why. Like Archon of Cruelty is so good by himself.
That
Right,
card
but
is ridiculous. I think that
card
card
is-
alone is the return needs to stay banned because
but there's also like persist.
Jesus.
That's like the it's like, all right, put Archons in my graveyard. I'm just gonna play persist. Boom, there it is.
Yeah, but like you
but
don't.
if you counter a
need
persist, it doesn't come back.
That's true.
Dread Return is just a. I feel like that one's good because like that just for 4 mana just to, you know, I don't know.
You can
Maybe
get back
Iona Shield of
new
Emeria.
Emrakul. You can get back
Iona
Sarah's
Shield of
Emissary.
Emeria.
So I have a Sultai Reanimator deck, and the one thing I ran into was like, all right, I need a Haymaker, and it's Inkwell Leviathan because I think it has like hexproof, and he's just a big beater. But looking through, it's like there's no good like, hey, I just want to bring back X creature card. There's a lot of restrictions on the Reanimator cards right now in Modern, where it's like it has to be a non-legendary, it has to be 3 or less mana, it has to be like a black creature that's so and so. I feel like Dread Return just sort of gives it an edge where it's like, hey, I'd like to just bring back a big, stupid Eldrazi for a large cost. Here it finally is. Is it 4 mana? Yes. Can it be countered? Hell yes.
But the problem that I have with it is that it has flashback. That's my big problem with it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Are there loops you can get into? But I'm not sure.
I think it's Narcomoeba. I think that's the loop because you sacrifice 3 Narcomoebas. The Narcomoebas come back, and then you can bring something back with Dread Return.
Yep.
But at that point, it's like, all right, I'm going to bring back a bunch of Eldrazi with Narcomoebas and pass turn, and then, all right.
Or you
But
could
at
bring
that-
back spaghetti monsters and
Yeah.
fucking good night.
But at that point, too, it's like counter spells, where it's like, all right, to go to sacrifice Narcomoebas, you blow them up or you exile the graveyards. There's still a lot of graveyard hate, too.
Sure.
I feel like there's enough to counteract Dread Return in the meta, and there's enough just graveyard hate also, just incidental, to just sort of screw it over as well.
Again, you bring back this and Deathrite Shaman, you're fine.
Yeah. Or it's like, aha! All right, Dread Return hit the graveyard, correct? Yes, I'm going to flash back. Deathrite it. Move on!
Yeah.
Go to the next one. Go into another one of my cards. Give me
I have
chaos.
Ugin. I have Ugin.
Yeah!
No.
I have Ugin.
Fuck no.
Bring it back.
Ugh.
Nope. I hate
Jon
Tron.
Snow once says winter's coming.
I hate Tron.
And so am
hate
I.
Tron, and I wasn't playing Modern for Eldrazi Winter, but the horror stories.
So, I don't think it's
Just
anyone's
bad.
surprise that I like Eldrazi, but I also like Tron, and Tron is shit right there. I don't like
Tron
the.
is not shit right now.
I don't see any Tron.
I played against Tron every single time. I
The
play
reason
against
why-
so much Tron, and
The reason why the reason why Eye of Ugin is so good is because Oath of the Gatewatch. That fucking set, man, with all the cheap Eldrazi, Mimic, Thought Not Seer, and Reality Smasher, I think.
Mhm.
Those are the three big ones. That just Ayavugan just oh god, just free. It's just free because like this paired with Eldrazi Temple, it's
Yeah,
just
fuck.
you just draw and spit out fucking Eldrazi all day long. It's fucking terrible.
You have to look at besides just the giant ones, Brody, not just the Emrakuls and the
Yeah,
Ulamags.
yeah. You can get back Eldrazi, Sky Spawner, and Matter.
No, dude, Reality Smasher. Reality Smasher's
yeah.
fucking nasty.
It's so nasty, dude.
When-
It's
Dude, Trample Haste, a 5/5 for 5. When the
Oh, it's
Reality Smasher
so
becomes a target,
lovely.
when Reality Smasher becomes a target of a spell an opponent controls, counter that spell unless its controller discards a card. You're telling me that no, fuck that card.
I love it.
I played Etron enough in Modern that I could tell you with certainty that if Ayavugan was unbanned, that would be broken. No reason that card should ever come back.
And the card would triple in value overnight.
Oh yeah, that card would be worth as much or more than probably what's it, Cavern of Souls.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably.
so, Brody, you are wrong.
Nah, you guys are just cowards.
Yeah.
You guys are cowards.
Oh, you're
No,
just a
no.
little bastard. That's what you are.
Give me chaos. Give me
right.
Ayavugan.
We're not unbanning it. Next card, Faithless Looting. Does anyone who wants this one unbanned? Zach and Dylan.
I don't know.
Did you change your mind?
Some things are better left in the dirt.
I will say again, is it Murktide?
Yes.
Ah,
Some things are better left in the dirt.
the new Phoenix. Possibly even the worst Phoenix with this. You just give Murktide a reason to run Phoenix then.
I think that's why Dylan wanted this one unbanned last time, because he was gonna make that stupid
No,
Phoenix baby deck or whatever.
no, I'm not, and
It was
I have
Burn.
no intention
He
to.
wanted to run it for Burn.
No, I don't. That's terrible.
Zach,
Burn.
do you want Faithless Looting back?
Some people just want to see the world burn.
There we
Are
go.
you one of them in this case?
He is some men.
Okay, but why?
Yes, man.
You just—that's the only reason you just want it, just because.
I just want to see chaos.
chaos.
Well, I don't think there's much to say about Faithless Looting. It's gonna stay banned, and it should.
Yeah, it's not gonna come unbanned.
All right, Blake. Next one.
Everyone got their point out.
What
Or
if?
Dylan, I
Hold
know
on,
you were
I
gonna say
have an
something.
idea. What if
Yeah.
we unbanned everything and just called it Legacy 2?
It has to be Legacy 2 Electric Boogaloo Return to Chaos Island.
All right, we're moving on because
Moving on.
I don't like this at all. Glimpse of Nature.
No.
Zach and
All right,
Dylan say no, which I'm
all right.
surprised Zach says no, but okay.
What is
Glimpse of Nature was never a card in Modern and should never be a card in Modern.
For those who don't know, Glimpse of Nature is for 1 green sorcery. Whenever you play a creature spell this turn, draw a card.
This would break every
Elves.
fucking deck.
This would break Elves.
It'd
Elves
break
would
every
be-
deck. It's gross. It's too gross.
All Glimpse does is it's just encouraging cheap creature decks to be played. And Elves is the perfect outlet because how many of us have seen Zach spit out 7 Elves on a turn and then what? Just redraw your whole fucking hand? Like no. Bad. Naughty.
I think
Yeah,
that's
but,
why
I mean,
I don't see
Like,
an
do you
issue.
realize I'd be a pro Magic player if this card was unbanned?
Well,
Yeah.
you would make too
We
many
don't want that.
mistakes. You would miss your trigger, and
Also, this card would be $100. This card would be $100 a piece. I think it's like $30 right now.
Oh,
is.
so the-
it is. It's very expensive.
And I'll tell you, I would pay every penny. If it
So-
was $300 a card, I'd buy 4.
I don't.
So like one of the reasons right now is like, oh, because you have a combo with Heritage Druid and Nettle Sentinel, where you just keep untapping them and playing and drawing stuff.
But they just printed a Lord that does the exact same thing.
Yeah, but you gotta pay mana for that.
But if
I
you have
view
Nettle
this-
Sentinel and Heritage Druid, there's how many 3-drops besides like 3+ drops besides Shaman of the Pact, and what Reclamation Sage maybe? I mean, I guess Azuri and Archdruid are, but they're probably already on the field when you're going to cast this, and then you're just going to go off. I
feel like this would go in elves, and then by that turn it's like a turn 3, possibly turn 2 kill, if at that. But you're just drawing your entire deck, and you got to find a way to kill.
I want to see it.
You're like, what kills if you're all right? I've drawn my entire deck. I have all these dudes. We're good. I just gotta wait for next turn and have everything live somehow.
All right, I'll buy 4 Glimpse of Natures and I'll take some 4 cards out of my deck and we'll see how it goes.
All right.
I mean,
we
I'm
go.
sure it's gross. I mean, we watched you play, like when we went to that tournament, you were playing against the other elf guy, and he was
Watching
playing
got bodied.
the new lord and did exactly that. I can't imagine that it's that much different. But
All right, next card.
Green Sun Zenith.
What the hell does this thing even do in Modern? Nothing. It tutors up a single card. Puts
Another-
in the...
It's just a better card to fetch Yawgmoth.
What does Green Sun Zenith do again exactly?
You
Green Sun Zenith.
you pay
means-
green and X, and X is a number equal to a CMC of a creature, and you search your library for a creature of that CMC. So for
You look
5
for
mana,
Echoleft.
Oh, it's 1 green? Yeah,
Yes.
no.
yeah,
This needs to stay banned.
no, yeah. I mean, Eldritch Evolution, and I'm pretty sure.
Elves would love to use this.
Oh yeah, that
you
too.
could
I mean,
click
is
it.
Zuri just to get Zuri or any of your combo elf pieces or
Crater Hoof Beast.
Shaman of the Pack? Or,
Oh god, a
Crater
crater
Hoof
hoof,
with
Crater
easily a
Hoof
crater hoof.
Smith.
Yeah, no. No. This
That's why
card
we
needs
have-
to stay banned. This does so much.
Yeah, that's why we have Cord instead, because it's a little more fair.
Does it put it on the battlefield too?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Oh my god, you could turn 1, just go get a Ragavan.
Yep.
So the reason, like, it was the whole birthing pod future proofing, but also like the one big thing was searching for Dryad Arbor.
Sure. I mean, that's fine. I know
Well,
there's things you can do with Dryad. No, this card needs to. I don't know if it was ever in the format, but if it was,
It won.
it
but
was.
no,
It needs
was-
to stay banned. It just. This is bad. This is bad.
There's a
Cheap-
powerhouse in
Dude,
2011.
cheap tutors are just dangerous Magic cards.
bad.
I think it would do a lot of good for the format and like spice things up and ramp things out and maybe give some
Spice?
other
What-
decks.
This is the spicy. Like this format is so spicy already, and
Oh.
you want to add more spice. You're like, this format's a ghost pepper, but let's add a Carolina Reaper. No.
Yes.
No.
Well, here's the
no.
other thing too: is you could go, turn one, Green Sun Zenith, fetching Dryad Arbor, play it, and that's a 1 mana ramp spell.
Yeah, no.
No one told Blake to shuffles back into the library after you cast it too.
Oh yeah, fuck this card. This is like, dude, this I
Not
don't play
good.
tutors. That's why I don't know what this card does. Dude, no.
This guy wanted to see the world burn too, but he wanted to see it burn green.
I love that actually people are saying that Green Sun Zenith is one of the safest cards to unban.
Oh my god.
Mm.
No.
Somebody was saying that Green Sun Zenith should get unbanned as long as Dryad Arbor gets banned.
I think okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this into the negatives. Like this should just be like this card should just be destroyed. It should be banned from
Christ.
from the game. And then
Or they change it to an instant.
oh my god. I hate it. We're moving on. Does anyone have anything to say other than like Brody saying that this can come back? Dylan, you wanted this one unbanned as well, it looks like.
I probably was fucking around.
Okay. Good to know. All right. Next card, because I don't want to even think about the terrible things that card will do. I go back on Glimpse of Nature too. I kind of got convinced after thinking about it for a second. It can stay banned. Anyway, KCI Kark Clan Ironworks.
Ban this shit. It's a 4-mana do nothing combo potential that can be blown up.
Did you just say do nothing?
Wow. I think Brody should be shot. Fuck.
All right, it's an artifact combo piece. Yes.
Yep.
A 4-mana card. You sacrifice an artifact to it, you add 2 generic to your mana pool. You are going off with shit like Scrap Trawler and Mirror Retriever. Ah, yes, I have infinite mana to put out an Emrakul, Eon's Torns. Congratulations.
Or you
Yeah,
just
No,
that's what they're gonna do.
no,
Is put out
you
an
missed,
Emrakul.
Brody.
They're
You
definitely
missed
not gonna
half
do
the.
something
No, no, no,
else.
no, 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 no. Brody missed half the fucking combo. You get Mirror Retriever, Scrap Trawler. You can produce infinite mana. Then you draw your whole deck with Pyrite Spellbomb
Yeah,
Mhm.
Pirates
or
Spellbomb.
Ichor Wellspring. Ichor Wellspring, because you can sit there and just flicker it all day long. Ichor Wellspring would sit there and you would draw your entire library.
There's so much, dude. Infinite mana does not mean an Eldrazi. Infinite mana means you win the game.
And
I
the
see.
reason why KCI was banned was because it was so consistent. You could mulligan down to 3 as long as you got like a couple of cards like you needed, your couple pieces. You would win on turn 3 or 4 every time.
Come on, Brody. Come on.
So
Don't be a troll.
I'm not, and I honestly think right now, with how things are, you could put KCI into the meta. Yeah, it'll be
No.
a good deck.
No, what's wrong with you?
You
Well,
literally
we don't
can
have time
respond.
to discuss that, but
You can respond to a Force of Vigor and go infinite.
Yeah.
And if going by our train of thought, by unbanning all the artifact lands, you can just sack your lands to add
oh
2
shit,
colorless.
that's right. I forgot you could
Oh,
say.
yeah,
Never mind. No, I
exactly.
forgot about the artifact lands. I forgot about those.
Brody, you're messing. You're dabbling in too much. You can't have your
Unlimited
cake
power.
and eat it too.
You want to bet?
Just play it in Commander. That's fine. That's what
Oh,
Commander's
you guys always
for.
kill me before I can go off with it, though.
Jesus Christ.
All right,
All
next card, Luris. I think I should unban this card because
No. Companions are terrible.
All right,
There's
go to the
still a
next one.
couple. The couple that they
oh
have
god, I've set
left.
him off.
Gigantha, no. That card is not bad. It's not a bad card. It's not a good, like, it's not a great card compared to
Somebody stop
Luris
Dylan.
and compared to Yorion. Spoiler. Gigantha and Kahira are the only 2 really playable. Oh, and Obosh are the only 3 like playable companions right now, and none of them really see play except for Kahira in Elementals or in any. Well, now 4-color control, because all 4-color control since Yorion got banned go to Kahira now.
All right, go to the next card, Blake. I've set him off.
Mystic Sanctuary.
Put it in Storm.
Fuck no.
Yes, it'll get played in other decks.
It would
You
get
realize
played
you
in
can fetch it,
Control.
right? You
Yeah.
realize you can fetch it.
Yeah, but all right. Okay, so hear me out. Name some of the top like instants and sorceries right now in the meta that are good, that are not counter spells.
Well, fuck you.
Expressive Iteration.
All right.
Prismatic Ending.
All right.
Path to Exile.
Lightning Bolt.
I was waiting for a burn spell.
Surgical
Oh god. Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, this fucking card in Mill. Fuck no, dude.
Oh god.
Fuck
Yeah,
no,
just,
dude.
Just archive trapping over and over and
Son
over.
of a bitch. No fucking way, man. Oh,
Blake was
absolutely
pounding
not.
sand for the rest of his life.
Oh man, dude. Okay, Mystic Sanctuary is just a fetchable Snapcaster Mage. That's just like a no for me, man. Four copies of Mystic Sanctuary, 4 copies of Snapcaster Mage, and just a bunch of fucking burn spells. Like, just man, no.
No, yeah, dude. I don't know what you're thinking that this card doesn't break.
Like, okay, so here's the goal. You play in your burn spell, fetch Mystic Sanctuary, you put your burn spell back on top. You draw the burn spell, then you cast the burn spell, then you flash back the burn spell with Snapcaster Mage. So you're getting That's 3 trigger. That's 3 spells. That's 3 bolts in 1 card.
Or just
Well,
mana
Mystic
rip.
Sanctuary puts it back on top of your library.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but you're playing blue.
It's true.
You're gonna draw cards. Like
True.
it's not tough to draw cards with blue.
So the fact that it puts on a library slows that down. Yes, you're getting that repeated value though, but you're also at the same time
It's
fighting against the other dude's
consistency.
Mystic
No,
Sanctuary.
no.
I want to
It's
make one more.
consistency.
I want to
All
make
right,
one
so-
more point again about this,
Okay.
and it's one that I used earlier. Run in 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ren in 6, man. 5-color decks will use the shit out of this. This is just perfect for counter spells. This is perfect for counter spells, especially with the ultimate trigger from Rebound or the
They'll
Rebound.
find a way. They'll destroy their own card so that way they can get it back.
Yeah, no, this card. This card's gross.
Moving on.
Or Cryptic
Zach,
Command.
Wait,
This
Zach, you got
dude,
anything?
Cryptic Command would
I
fuck.
think I said my piece already.
You've made your piece already.
This card gets more broken with Cryptic Command because you can bounce. Because so you play it or you play Cryptic Command. You tap all your opponent's creatures and then you bounce Mystic Sanctuary back to your hand.
Yep. It's gross. And also
No.
Amulet Titan.
Oh,
I hate
another
all of it.
card. Another card. Well, they don't
Scape
run as.
shift. You just get the
Oh
scape
yeah,
shift back.
yeah. Gross.
Anyway, we're moving on, man. That's
a
a
no.
no. That's a no for me, dog. Ponder and preordain.
All right. So on this, I believe we all agreed to keep. Like, I'm the only one who I think wanted one of these unbanned, and it's
Murktide.
preordained.
I said
Wait,
maybe on
yes.
preordain.
So yes, but
That's
keep,
you get to see 3 cards for 1 mana,
no,
so that's a free
keep
Jace
Ponder banned. I'm talking about preordained, which is scry to then draw a card. So you're looking
It's
at
literally a fucking. It's literally a top.
Yeah, it's a free top trigger for 1 man for 1 blue. Like no man. So you
Okay,
get
but
to see
they
the
have.
top. But no. You get to see the top 2 cards of your library. Then you can bottom those, and then you draw a card. So you can see up to 3 cards with that in Murktide.
But dude, they consider
No.
and otherworldly gaze are even better for Murktide. I don't
Also
even
that
think this.
What about Expressive Iteration?
I was gonna say there's also express.
So you scry with Preordain, you see an Expressive Iteration, put it on your top, draw it, and then you play it. Like you get to see 6 cards.
Then you're okay. You're paying 3 mana though, and you're only really getting 1 of that.
These cards are also good for combo. I mean, ad nauseum. I know that card's not that deck isn't great, but like, bruh.
I'm not saying that these cards aren't good or that they're not broken, but I think that there's enough other types of spells. I don't think Preordain is as good as Expressive Iteration. I don't think it's as good as a Consider for the Murktide deck. I don't think that it's
Anger.
I don't think that it's as good as the Otherworldly Gaze. Otherworldly Gaze, you look at top 3, and I think you can put all of them in the graveyard.
So the reason like Preordain was banned and Ponder with it was because at the time Storm was the deck to play. That was the old Murktide. But because they hit so much of that mana base and so much of it, that it's like because it was like Ponder died for Storm, basically, is one of those cards. Because it was just like, oh, you're just accruing so much value and getting your Storm count up with these cheap spells to draw into more of your rituals to then play more Ponders. You would basically like Ponder into ritual into Preordain into Ponder into like that. And yes, those cards are gone. Yes, would this card be good in Murktide? Yes. Would it also be good in something like Storm where all their cards are like 4 mana to actually do stuff? Yes. Do I think this would bring... I feel like it's kind of like this card where it's like, it does a lot, but only does a lot for certain decks. And those decks it does do for helps it a lot, like Storm.
I mean, I think it'd be good. It'd be good in a lot of decks, and it would have a lot of into a lot of decks. Like I would have ran it in Hammer Time because Hammer Time has a tough time in the grindy games.
Yeah.
I would run it in Merfolk because Merfolk needs cards in hand. I don't know.
I
I
feel-
don't. Again,
I feel like it's the Urza Saga card where it helps out a lot of decks, but it also makes some decks really good as well. It's that weird balance where yes, it seems broken, but it also helps a lot of decks as well.
I also I see the point of why you wouldn't want this. I concede to the fact that like yeah, it's I don't think it's gonna improve, or I should say I don't think it's going to break open Murktide to be even better.
No.
But I do think that it could help other decks get elevated. Is all
Yeah,
I is
it allows you to stabilize.
yeah. So like I don't know how much it would really I don't know. I don't think it needs to be unbanned, but I think that's why I have it as a maybe. I'm like it could be.
Yeah.
I think preordained could be. Ponder I don't think should. Shuffling is too
Oh
powerful.
god, no. Keep Ponder. Ponder's just a bit. It's just a little bit too strong. A little bit.
But I do think preordained could be okay. And
All
it's a
right, move us
sorcery.
on before Dylan pops a blood vessel and comes to murder me in my house.
Yeah.
I think he's on his way already.
Next we have
I'm
punishing
in the
fire.
car. In the car.
Next we have punishing fire. We all thought this one could be unbanned.
All right, 1 in a red, punishing fire, instant. Punishing fire deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Whenever an opponent gains life, you pay 1 red. Return this card from your graveyard to your hand. You play Burn Willow. Oh look, I gained you a life. Look, punishing fire comes back.
You also have to pay the red, which I
Yeah,
mean you use
yes,
it to pay.
that's
you
what the
get
Burn Willow is
red.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like it's a cool little interaction. It's cool. This is from a time no longer in modern, from when games were really grindy and Jace the Mind Sculptor was a 4 of in every deck. Back when games were slow and modern. I feel like, yes, it would do some things. I think Burn would. Dylan, would you run this in Burn?
No.
There we go.
No, because he doesn't make people gain life in any way or want
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
I don't.
I also don't want to run Grove of the Burn Willows.
Yeah. I feel like this is just a slow, neat little card that doesn't deserve to be on the ban list in this day and age.
Doesn't deserve to be on the ban list. If it came off, it wouldn't make any splashes anywhere.
It wouldn't do anything. Let's talk about Right of the Flame.
2-mana shock, and come on.
It's just it's really just a soft combo card for aggro. Like if you were
Yes.
playing, it's recurable damage that you can do every turn if you have nothing else to do. It's basically if I'm drawing dead but I have punishing fire, I can still do things.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
Right of the
That's fine.
Flame.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about Right of the Flame? I didn't think we were talking about
I'll
Right
just
of
go through these quick. I think Right of the Flame and the Rituals, like Seething Song, should be unbanned because the only decks he's going are Storm, and that's about it at this point.
I want it unbanned because I want to make a Dragon Storm deck.
Yeah, that's the thing. Dragon Storm would be fun, but and this is from also it's like one of those bygone eras as well, where Right of Flame died because Storm was the deck to beat, and Storm went on for like the reason Storm got killed is because one, those turns went on forever, and a lot of times they would mount to nothing. But I feel like that Storm is so underpowered right now that you could unban these, and it might make some waves, but not too many, because they might just die before they even get to that point.
Not much to say about it.
Yeah.
Next card is Splinter Twin.
All right, so
the reason why this card was banned, the true reason why this card was banned, was not because it was broken, but because you can play it in so much that it was like 15% of the modern metagame at the time. And they wanted to ban Splinter Twin to shake up the format so that people were playing other decks.
yes,
Considering where we're at now with the modern format, this card could be unbanned,
yes.
in my opinion.
Should be unbanned.
Yes, I think that right now once again it's one of these big. It's fast right now. Modern is.
Oh, yeah, it's a turn 3 or 4 format. Turn 3 to 5.
Yep. And
Because
now,
by turn 5, a combo or not a by turn 5, a control deck will have you locked out of the game. By turn 3, a burn deck will have you dead. By turn 2, sometimes a hammer deck could have you dead. With aggro, infect 2, and other cards like that. But I just don't think that Splinter Twin is as bad
like the-
because it's in a meta that's a lot faster.
yeah. So the combo
Because
was like
modern back then used to be a much slower format.
the combo was combine this with Deceiver, Exart, and Pestermite. That was the combo.
You make infinite creature tokens and then swing.
Yes. Do they have haste? Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
other thing. They don't.
They all
do?
have haste. Yep.
I will say there's one thing that like a reason I think it could stay banned, as much as I like have been on the side of like unbanning this one, is in those elemental decks, it would be really annoying to deal with.
That is true. That
Yeah.
would be really gross to deal with.
tapping a
if-
Fury every turn to put another Fury onto the battlefield
or Solitude or Endurance.
Solitude.
Endurance.
Endurance just I can get rid of
Grief.
your graveyard. Grief is the other one. Yeah, I don't think this with Endurance would be all that great.
I'm
because
50-50.
Subtlety would be annoying.
I-
like
50,
you
I'm a 50-50. Well, subtlety is a counter, technically.
right. So you can tap a creature to counter a spell.
But at that point too, if you already have like some of the elementals on the field, aren't you just sort of already winning by beating your opponent's face with elementals?
Depends on who you ask.
I feel like this is currently right now in the meta, if you're not a combo deck, this is just a win more card.
Then making another Archon of Cruelty is annoying.
Yeah, like,
Thinking
it's a card that goes in certain decks. I don't feel like it would quote unquote shake up the meta. If you add any card into it, yeah, it'll shake it up. But I don't think it's going to be making like too big of waves. I think it's another one of those cards. It's like, yeah, this.
Well, I mean, you could put this on Omnath and tap Omnath. You
make
could
an
tap it,
Omnath and-
make an Omnath, and in response to the sacrifice trigger, sack a fetch land, and then gain 8 life.
True, but
I don't think that's right.
That is
no,
right.
I don't think that's not good. But it's like it's a 4-mana enchantment that.
Pretty sure that's right.
It's a workaround. It's a workaround.
No, because with the legendary rule, it doesn't necessarily use the stack. It's
Just
it's when
fizzles.
state base is checked. It
Yeah.
like it has to get sacrificed. It's not a trigger sacrifice.
Oh, like Dark Depths.
Yeah. Yes, it works like Dark Depths. But yeah, I think Splinter Twin should be unbanned. Zach, what you think? You put this in elves? Make more elves?
This is
No,
not going
I think
else.
it's pointless.
There
It would
we
be
go.
kind of interesting to have though for like maybe red green elves. That would be kind of funny, but
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I don't see why it needs to be banned. It's
I-
too slow.
Also, Kiki Jiki exists.
Oh, I would make a Kiki combo deck if this was unbanned.
Yeah, if you put it on a Kiki Jiki, you get 2.
And there's so much removal in the format. All you have to do is kill the creature.
So as the enchantment player of the group, there's so much just random like, oh, artifact hate that also for some reason hates on enchantments. Hey, look at that.
Well, I mean,
we built
here's the
against
thing.
Hammer Time, and we
This-
just built against you.
this card was banned before Teferi was also a card. So like Teferi bounce, then your Splinter Twin fizzles.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just
I-
don't see that the reason why this card shouldn't be unbanned just because of how much removal there's in the format. I mean, how often do we play? You play a creature, and then it dies immediately to anything.
So often.
I mean,
so
evoke Solitude, evoke Fury.
as,
Hell,
as
There's so much that could just
Oh my
instantly kill this thing. I cast Splinter Twin. Okay, I double bolt, or I bolt. Searing Blaze. There's so Prismatic Ending and Path to Exile. It's lots of
All right.
cards.
Next card, unbanned
Oh,
Splinter Twin.
and the new domain card. That new domain card.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Leyline Binding.
Leyline Binding.
yeah.
That
So
card
good.
is so annoying.
That
All right,
card's
Mark.
really good. Holy shit.
All right, Mark Rosewater, one of our 5 listeners. You heard us here. Unbanned Splinter Twin. You got it. All right, next card. What do we
Next
got?
card, Umezawa's Jitte.
Unban the GT. Unban the GT. Come on, join me, Blake. Unban GT. Unban GT.
Or just make it playable. I think it was banned prematurely.
Another one of. Yep, it was banned prematurely. All right, Hammer Time player, what say you? How impactful would this card be?
Very.
I wouldn't put this in Hammer Time.
I just think that this would just be like a really good value card in mid-range decks.
I would put this maybe in the Bushwhacker deck that I just built.
All right, so I'm on a page that has like all the banned and like reasons for why it was banned. Umazawa's GTA was banned because it was banned prematurely because they didn't want to make aggro decks busted back in the day when the format just came out. It was kind of slow. The argument is, all right, I think the argument doesn't hold true anymore. Aggro decks aren't good anyways, and Unveiling GTA might help keep some aggro decks good, or Monkey at bay.
Or it
So-
help Monkey.
Or would help Monkey, but it's a 2-mana.
I feel like you would see this card become its own aggro deck where you're
Yeah.
running you're running essentially Hammer Time, but not Hammer. So you're running red and white. You're running red creatures. It's a red and white artifact deck where you're running haste creatures. You want to get Pure Steel Paladin out or
Fervent Knight would be good with this one.
Yeah.
yes, or even I can't even remember the card now. What's the card that you can just flash an equipment in?
Sigarda's Aid.
Yeah, you just flash this in, you get counters. Goblin Guide would be good with this.
It is a legendary, so you can only have one of these on the field.
Yeah,
as
but you
well.
still would run 4 of them
You'd
because
still
there's
run- oh, yeah, you'd still run
there's so
4.
much artifact hate in the format that I feel like this would just become like a Stoneblade deck.
Yeah.
So
I think it could be interesting. I don't think it necessarily is broken in any way.
no, I don't either. I don't think it's broken. I think that at the time, it's more of like a historically
Powerful
since the
card.
history of
It's-
modern, it's a powerful card. But now
It's a
considering-
boogeyman card, is what it is. That's what this is.
considering what MH2 gave the format, I don't think this card is bad.
What
Haha,
came first,
behold, I've equipped
Kamigawa
Monkey with
or
GTA. That's neat.
Kamigawa or Mirrodin?
Mirrodin.
So
Wait,
the
say that
swords
again?
were. I said, what came first was it Kamigawa or was it Mirrodin?
Mirrodin.
So there were the swords in the format before Jite, right?
Yes.
And I think the swords are way more powerful than this one, even the shitty
Yeah.
blue-green one.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
I don't know. There's just a lot of value because you can just remove counters and okay, so you attack. You can remove 2 charge counters and gain 4 life. You could give creatures -2/-2. You could give your guy +4/+4. That's
That's it.
gaining 4 life though. I mean,
That's what they hit at you with. What the fuck's that card?
blow it up.
That's what they hit you with. Punishing fire though. That's when they get that back.
I mean,
See,
like
there you go.
as a burn player, I don't see a problem with this card, considering how much artifact removal I run in my sideboard nowadays, just because of Hammer Time, and
Yeah.
other decks that run a shit ton of good artifacts. Like everybody runs artifact hate because of Urza's Saga, and this card can't be fetched by Urza's Saga, which is good. So I mean, like that gives it a plus,
I think it's fine.
All right.
All right, last card we're going to talk about is the newest.
Uro.
No, we're not talking
Titans
about
of
Uro.
Nature's Wrath. I think this card should be unbanned.
No,
Alright,
you
go
said
on.
banned.
Go on.
The last card
Talking
is
about
the most
Urion
recent
the
card.
Triangle.
What'd you say?
Yeah, what Blake, what
Urion
Zach
the
said.
Triangle.
Yeah, Urion the Pokemon.
I choose
Urion
you, Uro.
the Blinky Sky Serpent.
He's a snake, guys. I have to
Uri-
play him.
So-
Yu- Go ahead.
Yorion.
I don't know. Urion the
Urion.
bird dick.
Noodle. Sky Noodle.
Anyway,
Anybody want to talk about this card?
Dude died for money pile decks.
I feel like this card, I feel like they just banned the wrong card.
They
they
did.
sure
Really?
did.
Remember, it's so much better now with this card gone.
I feel like people are still going to play 80 card decks without Urion.
Nope, they're playing 60 card decks and they're even better.
Yep.
Can you play an 80 card deck without Urion in Modern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can,
I feel
you can
like a
play
lot of
Battle of Wits
people.
deck if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
Battle of Wits isn't banned, but this card was. Like, come on.
I
And the
feel
reasoning
like
is because people got baby hands.
Okay, so the reason why this deck actually got banned is because Dana Fisher wanted to play Yori on Money Pile, and she couldn't, so they banned it for her.
I like their
Yeah,
excuse for
Dana.
banning. It's like
Woo!
it's like, oh, people just took too long shuffling. I'm like, motherfucker, half these players I'm willing to bet play Commander. You just needed an excuse to target the top deck of the meta, but you didn't want to hit Omnath. You didn't want to hit Red and 6. Or your elementals. So
I
you're
love
gonna pick,
the reasoning. Just like
so you're gonna
people are
pick your
bad at shuffling.
yeah. You're gonna
See,
pick
that's
your
just it too. If it was the shuffling was the issue, then Ren and 6 should have been gone because Ren and 6 is the reason why they have to keep shuffling because they keep getting the fucking
Yeah.
lands back. They keep getting fetch lands back over and over and over again.
So they banned it because Dana Fisher has small hands.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's
Yeah.
that's
No,
he's-
that was
You leave Dana
satire.
Fisher
a
out of
joke.
this.
Satire.
they did say that they banned it because a dexterity type thing. It's not necessarily just Dana Fisher. I think he was saying that just to for
Was-
you.
I'm not being. Yeah. Well, no, I just said it in general, just because it's.
But that was part of the reasoning was because they said there was too much shuffling and they didn't like all the shuffling, and so they pulled the fetch lands never going to be reprinted in standard argument. I don't think Yorion was the issue.
No.
It did get annoying with all of the triggers when because every game did go to grindy games when you played against elementals. I don't think there were many times, at least that I played against a Yorion money pile deck.
issue is
Slash control slash elementals.
the issue is an entire set, and that's Modern Horizons 2.
Yeah, and they're not going to ban anything out of there yet. When
Not
we
until
were
they're-
when
not until
when
they're
this got
done milking that set for every penny they get out of it.
Yep.
if it wasn't in print anymore, they probably would have banned them. But so in our text chain when this got banned, we were talking, and I think the card that should have got banned out of that deck is either Ren and 6 or Risen Reef, which I know like Risen Reef, a 1/1, but that card honestly does so much work for those decks and helps them
such an
keep
engine.
going because they would have like 2 or 3 Risen Reefs out and then evoke an elemental and then look at the top card a million times and either put out all of their lands or put out a bunch of or just draw a bunch of cards, and then they would have so much land that they could buy Yorion and also play it, blink all of the elementals, have them come back again, do it all over again, and then
So,
it's the enabler, and I think that they needed to get rid of that enabler more than they needed the companion.
I feel like you're wrong, and the reason why is because I don't think that Risen Reef is nearly as much of a problem as Omnath. Risen Reef is killable. That's my thing. Risen Reef is killable.
Sure.
You can kill it with Bolt. You can kill it with any damage because it's a 1/1 creature. My thing is, I think Omnath was the ban. Omnath should have been the ban. You get, it promotes playing super expensive fetch land type decks where you're fetching every turn. It enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and it's a 4/4. So not boltable. You can kill it with exile effects. You can kill it with what the -5/-5. I can't think. Black -5/-5 card. Dismember. Yeah, you can kill with Dismember. This card fetches. You're getting 4 life every time you fetch. That's absurd. And then on top of that, you play a fetch, sack it, and you get free mana. You get 4 mana, 1 of each color, which is, I mean, that's just absurd. I think that this card should be banned. I think it goes Ren and 6, or not Ren and 6, Omnath and then Ren and 6, because Ren and 6 is why this card is so good.
So
then if you get rid of Ren and 6,
No. Sorry.
then
Omnath is the reason why or Omnath is the reason why Renin 6 is so powerful, in my opinion, because Omnath is just a card that just shouldn't be.
I agree and disagree.
So what my theory behind all this is that Money Pile's a deck which just consists of a lot of the good cards in Modern. And Yorion kind of gives you an excuse to run all of those in an 80 card deck.
Yep.
And I feel like they probably went through a long and arduous, like what we're doing right now. It's like, oh no, we need to ban Omnath. No, we need to ban Renin 6. So I could see them doing what they're doing, like what they done with a lot of decks, where it's like, all right, there's a top deck right now, and it's kind of coagulating the meta. So let's ban the quote unquote like thing that started it all. Let's ban Yorion. Now down the road, I could see them banning either Renin 6 or Omnath, one of those two, to just sort of, if this deck continues to be a problem. But their logic probably is, all right, if we ban Yorion, a lot of people will probably stop running the 80 card decks, hopefully. If that doesn't happen, well, then we'll kill one of them. We'll ban one of them. And I can see that being their logic. Now, do I agree that Yorion is dying for the sins of the 80 card deck? 100%. Totally is. Do I think probably Omnath or Renin 6, one of those two should have been the ban? Yes, most likely. But
all people are going to do is cut the quaddle.
They'll cut a lot of stuff.
The snake.
Yes, they'll be. You're either gonna keep your 80 card deck and just like, oh, Yurion's banned. I didn't really play you a whole lot unless it was the mirror. All right, 80 card deck, let's go. Or they'll just trim it down to be like either Omnath Elementals again or Control. They'll pick because all that Money Pile is like.
It is a control deck. Anytime a round went to time, it was because someone was playing a Yorion deck, because it is a control deck. Yorion wasn't the reason why it kept going. It was the fact that they would always have 7 cards in hand and they would always have an answer.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know that Omnath was the reason they always had that answer. But I understand the reasoning, because I do not like Omnath as a card. I don't like landfall, and I don't like how easy it is to trigger those 3 abilities. But I don't even know where I'm going with it. Omnath is next on the chopping block for me, but I think Renin 6. I think Renin 6 actually probably takes the card that should be banned next.
What I think is, for right now in the meta, what I think would actually sort of solidify and maybe fix some things is unbanning Uro. So then that way it kind of like shifts.
Hold on.
Everything into like kind of like Omnath Landfall.
Wait.
And then
before you start ranting, before you rant.
Oh, okay.
Before you rant, I'm just Zach and Dylan.
Oh yeah.
I just want to make sure they get a word in.
Zach, let's see.
If you wanted any last final thoughts on anything,
Zach.
I think I'm ready for lunch.
Yeah, me too.
Zach's ready for lunch. Dylan's ready for lunch. I'm ready for lunch.
What are you guys gonna have for lunch? What are you having for lunch, guys?
I'll probably have a sandwich.
Leftovers.
Oh, leftovers.
Chipotle.
I'm gonna make a nice chicken stir fry with peppers, broccoli.
That's all the time we have, folks. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Nice bit of rice.
Oh, we lost Dylan.
All right, we lost it. Oh, he's back. All right. Anyway,
Satire.
I'll put it in a nice.
Wait, didn't we talk about Skull Clamp?
No,
we didn't talk about it. I mean, I'm the only one who wanted it back. I wanted it for my Hammer Time deck. Just being able to draw cards.
All right. Nope. Fuck Hammer. Nope. We're done. All right.
Card advantage.
Hisatsu. End the podcast. No jutsu.